The Anthem VIP demo has been available this weekend, and myself, along with a few other Shadow makers, have been playing the demo, specifically on Shadow, just to see how it runs, and also we're super hyped for the game. So what you're about to see now is a good amount of footage from our gameplay, as well as just our thoughts and opinions of both the game itself, our expectations upon release, and also our thoughts of how it ran on Shadow. Special thank you to Lemon and Jamie, who will be discussing this with me and basically letting me use them for content. Both of their Twitch channels will be in the description down below. Enjoy. So we were the group who were playing for the launch. The very first day, Friday, we got it at, let's call it 5 PM, because there were some issues.
It went live at 5 PM, but that doesn't mean to say we got it at 5 PM.
Well, they said it was live, but the server soon had max capacity within the minutes or two. So
we put, I said we should put money on this, and then we didn't, and then I was disappointed because it was so going to happen. But we had the same thing I imagine everyone else did who may even be watching this, which was the endless cycle of entering.
It was for like the first hour. It was mashing Enter Simulator 2019. They saw how many people had signed up to the VIP beta, and it's difficult to fuck something like that up.
That's exact numbers. This is how many people are going to play. Plus, you add on the codes which people got for having the VIP access. So 3 codes per that person. You should probably adjust for 4 people per sign up.
Yeah, this is it. Everybody that was associated with Anthem in some way was giving out codes like Smarties.
I understand the frustration with obviously the servers, but no dev can really have a true number on how many people would join. But that being said, they should have literally had their expectations quite high, yet I feel as though they had it quite low when it shouldn't have been.
For a game they've been cock-teasing for 2 years.
Exactly.
They should always allocate servers for, say, 75% of the player base that they've got signed up for it. Because, you know, there is that accountability of people that, you know, are still at work at 5 o'clock when it went live. And, you know, there's going to be people that just won't get around to it. But the majority
chat for the people at work.
Yeah. The majority of people that have paid or have managed to get into the VIP beta are going to want to get into the VIP beta when it goes live. Like
I said, try and find a funny tweet for this. In the end, I was going through and they were all pretty much the same. They were like, oh, can't get in, endless cycle of enter. Until I found one which I very much related to, which was, man, the swimming controls in Anthem make me sad.
They kind of give you something like vertigo, because as soon as you hit the water, you're like, oh, really disorientated. You have no idea what's going on.
It was fucking weird.
It just hits you in the face like, what the fuck is going on here?
And
then you try and compensate, and you can't because you've done too much left, too much right, and then you just kind of just got to sit there, leave your mouse to let it center, and then you have to move.
It was after adjusting to the flight controls. I was like, okay, yeah, I got this. Oh, water's a different beast altogether. So one of the other things before jumping into the actual game that we had a brief conversation about actually the last few weeks is the initial thoughts of BioWare's partnership with EA and people's reaction to just the 2 letters EA.
I immediately dialed down my expectations of the game the second I heard that EA were on board with it.
It's like 2 letters that will make your testicles just go up inside you a little bit.
This is it.
See, I know there's a whole stigma surrounding EA, but I'm one of the weird ones where I just don't care. Like, I do and I don't. Now, I understand EA does have a stigma around them, basically the shit. Basically, the destroy games, the destroy devs, the destroy everything. But do you have phones?
Yeah.
Don't you guys
that's
have
the question. There's worse publishers and developers out there than EA. EA hasn't actually done a bad job. They've done, you know, it could have been better. Don't get me wrong.
They haven't done a bad job, but they've done a good job badly.
Yes, they've
Perfectly
done it badly.
So the reason I wanted to bring this up, it was because every time I've initiated a conversation to do with Anthem, I've had the same reaction from people, which is straight away like, oh, isn't EA involved? Nah, I'll wait.
I don't think Xbox was up at all yesterday.
No,
Not
they
from
had
what I saw.
severe Xbox connection issues, and I think they still had them early hours this morning. But I mean, it's like people complaining where they can't even get in. If you haven't tried it, don't diss it. It's like with food. You taste it before you judge it. You don't look at it and go, "Oh, that looks like shit. I'm not touching that."
I mean, to some degree, I won't just put anything in my mouth. That's what she said. But the initial reaction I usually get from people is, and I try to say to them, like, oh, they say EA, and I'm like, yeah, it's a little bit like the Activision Bungie chemistry all over again, except in this case they've tried to get ahead of it, and they've basically said some promises: no paid DLCs, no buy to win. Yeah, there's paid for transactions in game, but cosmetic only. How long that will last for, they've never said forever. I mean, they got to make money.
It's a game as a service. It's a standard EA game, but you can see the BioWare trying to sort of force its way through. Like, I'm not about to spend 60 quid on skins or anything like that.
Oh well, this guy's very vain.
Exactly,
I mean,
and that's your prerogative. If you want to do that, then by all means, you should have that.
but
that
people
option.
will still complain about that. That's the problem with it.
But they'll
You just
complain
don't buy
about
it.
absolutely everything.
Whereas I think Anthem won't be that expensive. I think they'll be around. I say they'd be around about £8 to £12 for a full suit. of
As long
cosmetics.
as you know what you're buying up front.
Yes.
And they've already said this. They said no loot boxes. No loot boxes in terms of gear. But I'm also hoping that means, like, random shade pack. There's none of that.
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, like
things like shaders and stuff. Things that I'm going to buy, use for a while, and then see one that's a little bit shinier and go, "Ooh, I want that one instead."
I mean, they should do it how Warframe's done it, where Warframe is you can buy a palette of different shades of different colours, and there's different palettes with different colours. I'm referring to Warframe, but it's because they're quite similar games, where Warframe has fashion frame. It's something that people have made up where they show off how fashionable their Warframes look. Now, I reckon the Anthem will do the same. They'll have
They've put that
fashion
into World of
themes.
Warcraft now.
Yes, I mean Asmongold.
There's like a fashion, yeah. There's a fashion show, and like people can vote on the best outfits and stuff like that.
Yes.
You go head to head, and
Yeah,
it's becoming bigger and bigger. Like player
because people
customization.
want to look the part. People want, because if they don't feel good in themselves, they want to look good on a game.
Online.
Well, this is it.
Exactly.
So
And-
Second Life. Oh shit, who remembers Second
Yes.
Life?
Oh,
Yes.
Christ.
Yes. But
So
no.
after the endless cycle of enters, the connection errors, throwing us out, coming back in, we did get in. We landed. We were all Rangers, and we all looked identical. So what were your initial thoughts? Lemon, you had a complete advantage over us because you were Mr. Alpha. And you
Well, yeah.
were not shy about reminding us about that as we flew into walls.
About 17 times.
But it was our first time as a Ranger class. So what were your first thoughts as a Ranger?
Coming into the world that I'd not seen before, it was exciting. And I was a bit disappointed that you couldn't straight off of the bat choose the Javelin you wanted. You would start with the Ranger to begin with. But coming into that new world, it was quite exciting to sort of see it in action for the first time. I mean, obviously you've watched gameplay trailers and stuff like that, but it was your world then, and it's okay. It's heavily restricted because it's the beta, but being able to like take off for the first
Not
time.
beta, demo.
No, it's
Demo.
not even a beta, is it? It's a demo. Christ.
They wanted to be very clear about that on Twitter.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I kind of wish they'd left it a bit vague, but
I understand the
come-
logic behind it, the being a Ranger first, because from get-go they have said your Ranger is your all-rounder, which also makes it, in terms of playability, the easiest one to get to grips with. So if it's your first time coming into it, they give you the easiest one so that you can get used to it. They don't give it to you for very long because, it took 2 levels and then we got to pick our one, as opposed to if you went in, you got to pick the one you wanted first of all. Say the 2 harder ones, the Interceptor and the Storm, if you pick them from get-go and didn't know how to play the game, and it was extremely difficult, you'd be like, I can't play this game, I don't like it, it's too hard.
Because then I think once the Ranger because everybody would have played it, and then everybody would want to move on to another Javelin. Nobody's going to play the Ranger. She's going to be left out. She's going to be deserted.
They've very much painted themselves into the corner of making the Ranger the designated bitch class.
It's a newbie class, and if people see people playing a newbie class, they're not going to take them on strongholds or even just going around free play and doing world events. It's not going to happen because the Ranger is seen as a newbie Javelin.
And based on what I saw, everyone went, okay, I'm done with Ranger. I get to pick one now. Colossus.
Exactly.
It was the intro to the game, wasn't it? It was the tutorial. Yeah, I bet you'll see very, very few Rangers. They're going to have to seriously change something up about them to make it interesting or appealing to anybody else.
There's going to be a few fanboys regarding the Ranger going, oh, it's the first Javelin that I played. I love it. I think it's amazing. I don't want to give her up. Or, do you know what I mean? But there'll be people go, right, okay, I'm done now. I'm going to go into Javelin. See ya.
I've learnt the game in the Ranger, which was fine. Now I'm moving on.
It's the one that most looks like Iron Man. It's the only selling point that I can see it having for some people.
But the Ranger was fun.
It was.
She was fun. I'm
The
going to call her she
grenades-
because the Ranger looks like a she. So
That's fine.
she looks fun.
Like the shoulder cannon and stuff like that was a pretty good addition.
Yeah, I think you can lock on to, I think they said 8 or 12 targets at once. I
Yeah,
can't remember the exact number.
I think it's the only class that's got a grenade as well.
Yeah.
So let's get on to, and I want to see what you think, Lemon, because you did play the alpha, so you're already used to the flight mechanics. Going back in, was it any different?
It was slightly smoother. In the alpha, I can't really talk about it because obviously all I can say is it was different, a lot smoother, and it felt much better. But there seems to be more improvements. As you are moving your mouse, if your reticle goes too far one way, then your person will then turn a lot sharper. Whereas I think they should have done it where, as you're turning, it should have turned at a same degree each time.
And it is very, very easy to overcorrect there as well. And I had that a lot starting out. I've turned a little bit too far right. I shall respond by wrenching my mouse to the left. And okay, I've hit a wall.
Yes, you have to center your mouse a lot while flying. And that's the same with swimming, which is the next subject. They are kind of the same, but kind of different.
We were about 2 hours in before I realised the whole retina little circle to keep it within, and that's how you don't mess up. Whereas before I was just trying to feel it. I wasn't aware. Once I saw them on the screen, I was like, okay, this makes much more sense, and I can see what direction I'm about to go.
I mean, I think there was one point where you was like, fuck it, I'm just standing here and just wait for you to do the mission so you can pull me close.
Yes, I was waiting to get bungeed to you.
Because you just couldn't do it. I mean, I think that the flying and the swimming mechanics are going to be the hardest thing to master.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be very easy to learn once you get used to it. But I think to master that mechanic, it's going to take a lot of time, a lot of skill, and a lot of getting used to.
Like I heard someone say, oh, underwater looks pretty, but there's not much to it. There's nothing down there. It's not dangerous. Why can't you fight underwater? Dear God, if they introduce mobs down there, I am going to die.
They won't. It's like the water is where you explore, where you go down and discover places, discover chests, and just explore different aspects of the world. Whereas if you had to fight on land and underwater, where would there be any place to rest?
See that? Well, you guys weren't underwater for long enough to know this, but since I got stuck down there, you run out of oxygen.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
God,
you
I
do.
didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I know, because you were in and out.
Yeah.
There is a blue bar underneath your reticle thing. There is a blue bar that goes around the bottom.
Oh, I saw him. But I do like that. You said other things underwater, so not mobs, but if there's chests, maybe if there's collectibles or farming resources or something else down there.
I think there will be resources, there will be loot, and there will be some sorts of rewards down there, but which will require better breathing aspirators in your suit.
I don't know how open world it's eventually going to be, because at the moment it very much seems like. Have you ever played Monster Hunter World?
Yes.
Yeah. It very much seems like that to me at the moment. It's,
Nope.
You know, you're on your own until you go out into a mission.
There is going to be free roam aspect, 4 players. Anybody can join and leave whenever they please. There will be world events where you'll have to take down scars, or you'll have to silence the relics. You'll have to. There's going to be so much, and there's even going to be Anthem. Like, I think there's going to be the relic storms. If you watch the trailer, at
Yeah,
the
they
end,
jump into a
fly
storm or something.
towards the storm, and they jump in. Now, that got me thinking that maybe there will be bosses on the other side. You go like through another dimension, like through I don't know, some sort of Anthem portal, which will
That's a
then
good
take you
shout.
underground or something. Because I don't think it's impossible to think like that, but I think it's quite far fetched to think like that. But
Maybe like
it's a
as
possibility.
the Anthem of creation has just spat out something massive like a major boss, that spawns some kind of storm,
Yes.
and that's how you get in.
Yeah, I don't know enough about the story to speculate at the moment, but
I'm going to be honest, since we touched on story, I wasn't paying attention.
Why?
Whether or not that
Why?
was they didn't do a good enough job at presenting it, and I really don't think that's what it is. I think it's just me as a horrible human being. But obviously, the like voice acting was great. They had subtitles up. I had the opportunity to read it, but I think because we were playing and because we were just looking to jump into the next mission to start playing straight away, I was like, yep. I kind of get the gist of the mission that you're going to send me on, because it's fly out, kill those mobs, go in here, collect this. There's going to be a boss at the end. You kill it. That's it.
One thing they did really well on facial animation.
yes. And the voice acting was pretty good as well.
Look, well, just think about it. It's not another Mass Effect, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed Mass Effect Andromeda. Don't get me wrong. I actually personally enjoyed it, and I didn't mind the story. It was nice to have a refreshing, different approach to the story.
Yeah, not just the Reapers are coming.
The one thing that kind of upset me about Andromeda is the facial expressions on the
And
animation.
That's
Now,
why I laughed at you the last time you said that, because you said you really enjoyed it, and I said, was that for the graphics?
No. It was just a different approach. But with Anthem, they've done really well. I think the story, once it's here, from what I've learned so far from the closed alpha and the VIP access, is that it's going to be a living and breathing world where you will go out and different things will happen all the time in free play.
Like
Wreak
world bosses.
havoc. Yes.
But I'm hoping there's enough of those, because the very first time I was introduced into world events, and I think it was the first time a game had sort of done it, or of this genre, it was Guild Wars 2, and it was so unheard of, and it was like there will be missions that will just pop up and all of you will play together, and I was like, this sounds amazing. But it was the same mission in the same place at the same time interval, like once per hour you knew to go there, and it was the same mission being repeated. So it ended up being no different to go to that NPC, collect that mission, and redo it. It didn't feel like a random world event.
I think with it being BioWare, though, I think they need to redeem themselves, and I believe the devs really want to redeem themselves. And I think with the world events, I think they will give everything they possibly could, and they will make it more interesting than the actual story itself. Or it may even add on to the story that has been created. So I think once you've gone to endgame, finished it, I think there'll be dungeons to do, like the strongholds. I think there's going to be a lot of strongholds to do. And we only touched one stronghold.
And the repeatability there comes in with the difficulty.
Exactly. I mean, we was on easy to begin with, and we thought, oh, this is actually really easy. It's brilliant. We'll up it a little bit. We put it to normal, and we got absolutely fucked.
It kicked the shit out of us. It really did.
I mean, I was a storm, so I'm squishy. I think the main issue that I experienced, although I'm squishy, my gameplay mechanic is to stay above that and float above it so that I don't get hit. But for that reason, if you get hit, you guys go down. I'm the only one left, so it leaves the storm having to be the one that goes in to pick people up.
And even playing as a Colossus, like my job was to be the meat shield, and I was just getting rinsed.
I think this is down to the loot system. I want to kind of touch the surface of the RNG loot drops. Now, don't you think it's similar to Diablo 3 loot drops?
I've heard that referenced directly, whether or not it was from somebody who had spoke to BioWare or if it was from a developer, I can't remember, but somebody used that specific example.
I think it does feel like a Diablo 3 drops. And I don't mind that. I didn't mind the drops in Diablo 3 because it means you had to work and work and work until you got what you wanted.
It's a looter shooter.
Yes, I did a mission, a stronghold, the Tyrant Swarm, earlier today, and I managed to get 4 rares out of the whole missions. Now, when we were playing last night, I think Mark was the luckiest motherfucker in the world and got around about 6 rares in, 2 missions?
Yeah.
Jamie, you got, 4 or 5?
Yeah, I did pretty well.
Yeah, I got 1.
What guns did you use?
I think I was using a heavy pistol at one point, assault rifle, but I did change to a sniper rifle. I changed my machine pistol to a sniper rifle, but I don't think the sniper rifle does enough damage, to be fair.
I used one very briefly, and it was just a bigger pistol.
Yeah.
The sniper rifle?
Yeah.
I had fun with mine.
Did you?
Yeah, it was... I can't remember the damage. It will be on screen. It was either 1,000 or 3,000. I can't remember. Obviously, there was the ammo, but with something that's doing that much more damage, they can't give you unlimited ammo. That's just unfair. But I quite enjoyed it.
They could give you unlimited ammo, for sure.
They could definitely give you more. What about the... Because other than that, I touched the sniper rifle and I was using the assault rifle. And I remember saying, like, the first time we started shooting, I was like, oh, there's actual recoil, which I wasn't expecting.
Yes.
The recoil can be absolutely off-putting to some people. Me, I'm not bothered. I don't mind. It's just it's part of the gameplay. But I know some people won't actually like the recoil.
The shotgun was savage.
Yeah, mate, you with the shotgun was absolutely ridiculous.
I love the shotgun.
But I think with some of the recoil that some of the guns were doing was a bit too much.
Yeah, the shotgun's recoil was atrocious.
It was harsh.
At close range, it absolutely annihilated.
Yeah, it was worth the recoil. But I think as you progress up the loot tiers, that'll obviously you'll have the tweakers for things like that, where your recoil will be lower, or your reload rate is faster, or your fire rate is faster, and stuff like that. And I'm going to see. I want to see if they do it the same way that other MMOs do, where you can re-roll your stats on these particular guns to maybe try and get a better.
I think
I'm referencing the division.
Yeah. They said no.
Yeah, I think they said no to that.
They said no.
Yeah,
But it depends. I think they're open to anything. If they get 100,000 people come at them and say, we really want this feature, then maybe they don't have a choice.
I would like trading to be added, or even a trading system where you could buy some things from someone. Like, again, Warframe. Warframe has a trading system where you can buy things off people for platinum.
Oh,
and
you're
with
talking
platinum,
about introducing an economy.
Yes.
Yeah, there needs to be a trading system.
Trading, yes. Economy becomes very tricky.
Things that economy helps the longevity of the game.
It does.
Do you have one without the other, really? I mean, yeah, I don't know if you can really have one without the other. I mean, obviously things are class restricted, but I don't think you're going to be able to say, yeah, you can trade things without an economy sort of just naturally springing up around it.
So I've got 2 points which are very closely related. One of them is, what did we think of the graphics? And a second one, how were those graphics handled by Shadow?
So, I mean, I only experienced it on Ultra. Thanks, Shadow. Nudge, nudge, plug, plug. And I was getting, it was beautiful. Like, the lighting was fantastic. I know Lemon turned off the motion blur. He didn't really like it, but I quite liked it.
I turned off motion blur today.
You see, I quite like it. I like to sort of...
You're weird.
Feel like I'm actually moving.
Some people said it made them nauseous.
Yeah, see, I didn't get that. If it was head bobbing, it can go fuck itself.
See, I don't mind head bobbing. I don't mind the head bobbing. But I can't stand motion blur.
You see, I can't do that.
Because the funny thing for me is I didn't realise I had it on Ultra. I kept thinking that it looked amazing, and I was like, I wonder what would happen if I turned up the settings all of the way, forgetting that all games do that thing where they're like, okay, let me check your system and see what you can run it at. And obviously we were all playing on Shadow, so you started the game and it was like everything as high as it can go, please.
Yeah, this is it. It literally just thought, it can handle it, and it did.
the closed alpha, I think they did optimize it a lot better. There's a lot of improvements right there. As far as streaming from Shadow while playing Anthem, it did drop to 30 to 35, sometimes lower depending on what's going on the screen. But that's normal. That is expected. It's a very high demanding game. Shadow only has 12 gigabytes of RAM, so hopefully when they upgrade it to 16, because 16 is now recommended by a lot of games in the future.
Yep.
I think once we hit that 16 mark with the RAM, a lot of things should improve. For me, the graphics were. I mean, I even forgot to turn down my graphics, and I was still streaming it on Ultra, and I didn't realize. Yes, I was hitting 30 to 35, sometimes getting high as 70 to 80 FPS.
So I did the exact same, and I forgot to turn it down. And obviously, I wasn't streaming, but we had the Discord chat going. It was running on Ultra, and I think even probably more hungry in terms of like system is recording the gameplay, because I was recording it to the Shadow PC, which I think is probably more system requirement than streaming it. Streaming's very internet, recording will use your system.
Yeah.
So I was doing all three of those at the same time. I didn't turn on my frame stuff because I'm lazy, but but as from what I could see, I didn't really have any issues. I did turn it down to high just to see, okay, well, it's running fine now. What will it look like if I nudge it down a little bit to high? And it was running the same. Obviously, in terms of some of the stuff, there was some stuff which I think you've talked about is just optimization of the game, not so much Shadow's ability to run it, because it'll pretty much run anything you throw at it anyway.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a case of the game needs to be a lot more balanced, and I think that is obviously one of the purposes of this demo, is to sort of see, like, you know, the more people they let in, the more user data they capture, so they can tune it to an average, I suppose, because you'll have people that are running it on, you know, the absolute bare minimum, and then you'll have people like us that have got this fantastic system that allows us to just run it full whack. So, you know, I think they'll be collecting quite a bit of data, because let's face it, it's EA, so they're monitoring absolutely everything about you anyway. So
I've got a question. Why did you choose the Javelin that you chose?
Because it was huge, and I like tanking or DPS. So
And you like to compensate for something, don't you?
Yes.
He's a thick boy.
Yeah, this is it. I like to look like I've eaten all the pies.
So you chose the Colossus, didn't you?
I did. And
what do you like about the Colossus?
Oh, it's a powerhouse. Like, with the shield out, it's basically invulnerable. And then you can just walk into any crowd and just blow them the fuck up, basically. It is, by every definition of the word, a tank.
With high firepower.
With high firepower, exactly. You know, you sat here with this auto cannon, and you know, it walks the line of you can pick people off from a distance with, you know, your mortar on your shoulder and this auto cannon that you've got, or you can get straight in there and you can melee, and you know, I was finding this particularly good sort of ground and pound move last night, where you'd sort of fly above people, hit your melee, and you would slam down, and it would just absolutely annihilate everything around it. Absolute powerhouse. It's way OP for what it is, but I hope it stays that way.
What about you, Mark? What did you choose?
Storm. And it's going to be for very similar reasons, because it's, in terms of other games, it's the class that I would, it's a mage basically, and that's what I would go for in other games, is what I'm used to, like a spellcaster one. Specifically in this, it was the ability to just float above everything. I was able to see everything that was going on, so it was quite good as a kind of spotter. I was like, there's some more over there, there's a big pile of them over there, there's an elite over here, maybe we should back. So that was quite good in terms of strategic. But as well as that, because I think the way that I intend to play it is like in a group, like us lot playing, and it's the support system that the Storm adds. It's the priming of enemies. So the whole system where you prime it and then you detonate, basically. and a lot of the moves that the Storm has, like basically anything to do with ice. You will prime an enemy, you will either help someone out by the fact that you have frozen the enemy in place and they're not going to be able to come at you anymore, or you've primed them for someone else's follow-up attack to get the combo.
It's like when there were the missions where you had to bring the relics to the 3 points, and there was a choke point where all the Scorpion workers were coming in and stuff like that.
Yep.
And I was just stood there doing the signal while you were freezing them, and then Jamie would just mortar them, and they'd just disintegrate. And
where they're all coming up that ramp?
Yeah.
Oh, mate, that was my favourite part, because you could just sit there and just
jiggle, and just annihilate them. Whereas, because I'm an Inceptor, I'm fast and agile, I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have really many AoE moves at that time.
I think you barely fired your gun, because we were just sort of there just controlling. It was crowd control, because like everything was sort of bottlenecking up that ramp. And I don't think I stopped firing. I don't think I needed to.
I think I was just eating chocolate at that time.
And it shows those two are going to be a popular combination. I've already seen it in people who were doing test stuff before this, that they already said they recommended a Storm and a Colossus together.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
And I see why.
I completely agree. With the Storm's AoEs as well as the Colossus's AoE, you've got a massive CC chain from Storm, and you could then get a Interceptor with their special ability to come in and melee everything, because that's the one thing I love about the Interceptor, because I play the Interceptor, and it's not really a class I would go to. It feels more like an assassin, and I've never played assassins. I hate assassins.
Like a rogue type.
Yeah, I don't like playing rogues. Like, WoW, I never played a rogue. Star Wars Republic, I never played DPS rogues or assist for assassins or anything like that. But this class, it feels so nice. I really enjoy it. It's really fun. The fact that the ultimate ability makes you invincible for around about 8 seconds, and your melee attacks do a shit ton of damage. That's
very
more like a
useful
cleaner
for
crew.
as well.
Yes, we noticed that against Tyrant Swarm.
That was like one of the... Obviously, you've got a lot of uses, but seriously, even with the combination of a Storm and a Colossus, they can both go down, and we saw that, and it was proved very easily that you can both just go down. But the ability to get in there and pick someone up that quickly is how you're going to get through the missions once you start ranking up the difficulty from normal to hard to the one where damage is put up by 3,100%.